Hi, it's good to be back. It's been a long time. Welcome to my apartment. This is where I'll be living for at least a year, uh, 10 months or so from now, 8 months, 9 months. For this school year, I'm going into my junior year of college in a few days. This is Friday, August 29th when I'm recording this at night. And on Tuesday, September 2nd is first day of classes here at Rutgers, where I go to school, studying philosophy, doing a bit of a full introduction, icebreaker kind of thing, because it's been a really long time since I recorded a podcast. And the last time I recorded a podcast, if it can be called that, was more of a video journal, more of a personal thing for me. While I was on a trip to Europe a few months ago, which was a really cool experience that I'll definitely talk about here. But it's weird to be back. I'm not sure what to say, what not to say, who this is for, really why I'm doing it exactly. But journaling is something that I love and something that I always feel good after doing, almost always. And this also feels like a very, maybe not pivotal time in my life exactly, but it's the start of a new chapter, to use a really overused phrase. And I cut my hair as well, but I'm getting distracted, as I always do. Make sure I'm still in focus here. It's gonna really annoy me when I watch this back if I'm like slightly out of focus. I feel like I don't know, hopefully I'm good. So yeah, I think that this year, in some ways it feels like quite different. In some ways it feels like I think this is going to be a really good year. I'm very excited. I'm also glancing over at my computer, which is playing the Mets game in front of me, so I'll try not to get too distracted. We're winning 12-4, so I really need not worry. Yeah, I think this will be a big year, a fun year, an exciting year. And I think that one thing I've been saying to people about where I'm at is that I feel like every semester, pretty much so far in my college experience, has been something different. The first semester I was in the film program. I might have to turn that off. First semester I was in the film program. The second semester I left the film program, exploring different disciplines. Third semester I stopped taking classes entirely and started doing science documentary work and doing a co-op for credit. Fourth semester, got back to taking some classes, found environmental policy, really started enjoying that, and also enjoying philosophy, which I had tentatively decided would be my major previous to that. And even with regard to more extracurricular things, started working with the Rutgers football team last fall, and then just based on the season in the spring did a lot less of that work. So every semester it's something different, and it's always going to be somewhat like that. Life is always somewhat like that. There's always change. There's some philosopher who said that change is the only constant, or something like that. One of the early Greek guys with a cool name, actually. They have really cool names. I kind of wish that we still used names like that. Like, I'm going to mess up all their names, but yeah, go look them up. Alright, the inning's over. I can stop paying attention to the Mets game now. As always, just rambling. That's what these are. These are not polished, and that's part of the point of them. So anyways, it's a check-in. I feel like this is, anyways, I was saying the change this semester feels like the first time where, yes, things have changed. I'm living in a new place, and getting back to fully taking classes again. I'm taking 12 credits of actual classes, and then 3 credits of independent study, making science documentaries. That's the plan right now. But there are a lot of things I'm doing that I've done before, and a lot of people that I'm working with that I've worked with before, and a lot of new people as well. But it feels like I'm finally sort of settling in. As you can tell, I'm trying to find spin the stories in my head, the narratives about what's happening in my life. And there's a lot of different ways to describe it, and none of them are quite perfect. And that's why I keep going back and forth with these ideas. But I think it's true in a lot of parts of my life where I'm getting to know the people here. I'm getting to know the communities here. I'm getting to know what I want to do here and what my place is, if you will. A weird way of saying it. I don't really like that, but finding what I'm really interested in doing and kind of diving into that. Finally, right after half of I might be here longer than 4 years. After 2 years have gone by, now I feel like I'm finally sort of settling in and like this is home. Not that it didn't feel like home before, but alas, I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I set this camera up here, not so I could just kneel on the ground and speak to you for an extended period of time at much too close of a distance, but actually because unnecessary dramatic pause there, but actually because I want to put some pictures up on my wall. This is my bedroom, and I'm kind of plastering the walls with photos, which is something I've been doing, but I printed out a lot more this year. And in the past, it was kind of more like minimalist, art pieces on the wall kind of thing. And now it's just sort of maximalist. Like there's so much stuff everywhere in my room, and I'm kind of overwhelmed looking at it all. But I have a lot of stuff. Relatively small room, and it is what it is. I really want to be able to look around when I'm bored from staring at my computer or whatever, or just, going to sleep and I'm lying in bed and looking at the wall. I want to see stuff that inspires me, and my own work definitely inspires me at times, my past work, and not in like a weird way, but it's also really cool to think about the memories that come along with it. And some of the images are more personal, some are more professional, but all have memories associated with them. And I don't know, I probably don't have to explain why it's cool to have photos on your wall. So yeah, let's rack focus here to the wall. I got the direction right first try, not bad. I did cut my hair. I think I like half mentioned that before, but I'm gonna fully mention it now. I buzzed my hair a few months ago, and I also have a lav mic on. There's just so many lines of thought. There's so many tangents to go on, and I am not gonna explore them all, unfortunately, or fortunately for you, actually, if you're somehow watching this. Now I forgot what I was talking about. Oh well. So, yeah, mostly I have sports stuff here right now, but I want to work on getting some. I have other photos, and I'm not sure exactly where I'll put them. I don't think I have space for everything here, but I'm gonna kind of try to, this be sports, and then it kind of transitions into something else, travel, landscape kind of images, or something else. This is under my bed, by the way. My bed is lofted up here, and I'm under it right now. My hair, that's what I was talking about. I remembered. So, dude, this is going to be so difficult. There's no way I'm going to actually accomplish anything. I'm just only going to either be talking or doing stuff, or talking about what I'm doing. My brain is a busy place, and sometimes it's fun to explore that and to let that out verbally, and sometimes it feels really overwhelming, like right now. And to have to also translate it for an audience of some kind, it's not literally just myself, is also sort of adds a layer of effort that causes more mental effort. Did I just use the word effort 2 times? Causes more mental strain, I don't know, energy. Energy is probably the best word. Should this go down here? I feel like it's kind of low, but it works. Could also go this way, but then I'm not really leaving much room for non-sports stuff. I think I will put it down here. Yeah, so coming back to my hair again, I will probably, this is how this is going to go, so I'm just going to try not to impose my expectations on it for it to be anything different, which is how I live a lot of my life. My hair, I recently, because I had moved to this apartment and I really wanted to cut my hair before I moved in here, because I have hair clippers at home that I usually use, and at here I wouldn't be bringing them. My dad uses them sometimes, so, and they're really his, so I kind of procrastinated and didn't end up cutting my hair at home. And, you know, as things often are, something that I kind of thought was not a great thing. I looked kind of silly with my grown-out buzz cut. Turned into probably a good thing, because I ended up buying a set of hair clipper and trimmer on Amazon, and invested in some tools, and some better tools than I had before, and was able to give myself something of a fade, more of a taper, I suppose, that actually looked solid. And you can let me know how you think it looks. I'm like maybe 4 or 5 days out. Wow, what a pick by Pete Alonso. Unbelievable. He's really good at staying on the base. Nice angle as well from the crowd. So, yeah, let me know what you think, I guess. It's not perfect. There were some little lines, and right now it's grown out a little bit, and you probably can't even tell that I did anything besides just a single guard through the whole thing, but there was a bit of a taper, and I'm proud of how it turned out. I'm going to probably cut it again in a couple days and do it a bit shorter and with like a higher fade, just to try something different and see how that goes. But yeah, I'm happy, because I tried to do a fade before, and I didn't really know the tools that barbers really use, hair cutters use, and I didn't really have the tools that I needed. They use guards that are like, they have much smaller intervals between them, so they're really able to avoid having lines, visible lines when you go from one guard to another in different sections of the hair. And I did not have that, so now I have something a bit better. Not amazing. I have half guards, which I think some barbers have quarter guards, which seems kind of crazy to me, but it's probably really good for like really, like skin fades and stuff like that, where it's like really noticeable any difference in length from 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters kind of thing. So anyways, that's a fun thing. One of the reasons that I cut my hair, I've explained this to a few people and sort of had to come up with my own justification in my head before I did it, and what I would tell people, because I knew it would be a big deal. It's a funny sort of thing that, it's like, things like that. I try not to think too much about what other people will think, or other people's opinions, or I'm not doing this for other people, but it's also a weird thing, because I know intellectually, before I buzz my hair, that it would get a lot of reactions, regardless of how it looked and whatever. Just the fact that I went from long hair to short hair, uh, people would notice and comment, and I'd see a lot of people over the course of months. There are people who are seeing me for the first time still now, who knew me with long hair, and it's just, I don't know, it's not something I could escape from or say like, oh, I could say it doesn't matter, and it doesn't really, but it's something that I still just had the knowledge, like, I'm going to be sort of dealing with this for a few months at least, and that's how it's been. Again, no big deal, but just something that sort of requires consideration, I think. Like, I knew that people would, I don't know, everyone in my life would kind of react to it in some way, whether they expressed that with me or not, shared it with me, but I don't know, just amusing, huh? Never thought of that one before. I'm getting kind of hot. I'm gonna turn this down because I want to keep my sweatshirt on and also continue to, fan noise probably isn't great, but oh well. Continue to have the mic on me, because it's on my sweatshirt right now. I don't usually mic myself up anymore. This is like when I first bought lav mics, I wasn't really doing client work. It was actually when I was doing YouTube, I think, only. So a long time ago. Brandon Nimmo down the line. Home run off the foul pole. Nice. 13-4 Mets in the 6th inning. Wow, it's hype there. So they have lights in the apple in center field. Interesting. Yeah, so when I first got lav mics, it was just for myself, really. I was like recording that when I was doing, I made a video, I was working on a video that never ended up coming out because I never reached my goal. It was a skill learning video, and I was learning to juggle 5 balls, and I learned to juggle 5 balls, but I didn't reach my goal of 10 seconds or 40 catches, which I got really close to, but never got. I think I got like 38 or 37, something like that, in like 9 seconds. But never got my goal still, and never finished that video. But I did a lot of filming where I was juggling balls and had to get kind of a wide shot from sort of far away, and so I'd put the lav mic on and do some commentary as I was juggling. And lots of lav mics actually, and skill learning videos that I watched. And so I got some, not probably for that purpose specifically, but maybe. Anyways, now I'm mostly putting mics on other people because I don't film myself that much anymore, and when I do, I tend not to use lav mics because I'm not usually moving around too much. But today it felt like the right choice because my back is turned. Some of the time a shotgun or boom wouldn't really work that well, and I didn't want to have something that I was holding the whole time while I'm trying to do other stuff with my hands. Turning the air down even more because I'm hot. For some reason I love in movies when I don't know whether the focus should be on me or on the wall. Like, it's annoying when I look this way and focus is not on me, but at the same time, you want to be able to see the photos when I'm like putting them up and stuff. Maybe I'll shift it slightly closer towards me. Something like that. Yeah, that's probably good. Maybe it's too... I could stop down as well. I have enough light that I could do it. Yeah, it seems solid. So, whatever. It's weird that I was making myself up this time. It felt weird, and I was like, what? I've done this? And I'm like, yeah, but it's been a long time. Just ridiculous thoughts I have. That wasn't so ridiculous, but just, I don't know. Part of it is like, when I'm sharing it on video like this, it just feels like it's special in some way. It's just the thoughts that I always have, for the most part. presented to someone, there's a bit of a filter. There's something happening up there, but it just feels like, because I'm recording this and I'm going to put it on the internet, there's something special about the things that I'm saying, and so they're judged by a different measure, a different tape measure, a different scale, and there's not really that much of a reason for there to be, because there isn't that much of a filter. There's not that much going on up here. And so I say things and I'm like, this is silly, people will judge me so much for this, or I don't know. But it's like, we all have weird thoughts that we don't really, so many thoughts that we don't share for whatever reason. I'm just sharing the things that no one else cares about. That doesn't make sense. I don't know what I'm saying. Again, just like, that's a random thought that I had, that line. It wasn't good, it wasn't like meaningful, it didn't have any value really. I just said it and thought it, and most of the time it just wouldn't come out of my mouth, but right now I'm letting it through. So yeah, I could talk about some of my goals and ambitions and stuff. I'm getting stuck here. I put 2 photos up and that's all, because now I don't know. I haven't known what photo to put up, but I haven't been thinking about it enough to even realize. Okay, I do have some more sports photos, actually a good number more, so I'll work on doing these, and then I'll figure out something else to do, or whatever. Oh, that fits nicely, although it's really low, and you can kind of hardly see, but I'm not sure I mind it. It's kind of the right place for that photo. It's with another softball photo and another kind of similar feeling photo, low angle, I don't know, whatever. I'm going to put it there. So, yeah, some ambitions for the year. Just random, yesterday was the first Rutgers football game, shot that was fun. There were a number of new team members doing media this year. This is my second year with football, as I mentioned before, I believe, or implied. And so it was really cool yesterday to meet and work with some new people and see plenty of familiar faces, and it felt like a homecoming for sure, and it was a lot of fun. That's one of the most fun things about football games for me is the people, and the sort of community, I guess. It's not like super strong in every context, but there's something there, and it's cool to experience, and really cool that the more that I do this kind of stuff, the more people that I know for the most part, and it's fun. This is kind of part of what I meant when I was talking before about feeling like this is home and feeling like I'm settling in here, is that I've gotten to know the people and the places and the things to some extent, and there's a certain comfort that definitely comes from that. And I think I'm a person who really cherishes that a lot. Or maybe cherishes is the wrong word. It's not really a conscious thing. I think I sort of my behavior changes quite a bit when I'm in familiar versus unfamiliar settings. I think that I'm quite cautious around people I don't know, and activities that I'm not super familiar with, in a way that I think, of course, everyone is more cautious, or almost everyone is more cautious, sort of tentative in around strangers versus friends, of course. I'm not meaning to say that I'm like, I know everyone's like that, but I think that I'm especially like that for whatever reason. I think that it's definitely somewhat of a flaw. You can see it in multiple ways, but plenty of times I sort of wish or try to like let my guard down more around people I don't really know, or doing things I don't really know about, being more open to doing new activities, new experiences, and to participate fully while I'm there, and sort of allow myself to act without so much self-judgment or worry about how others are perceiving me. Yeah, that's something I've definitely worked on, and yet it's an interesting thing to work on because it's sort of hard to know when you've made progress. It feels as though progress is being made when you stay in the same environment, and it's like, oh, I'm so much better around these same people now, and it's true, but that's not really what it's about. The point is that when new things come up, when I'm around people that I'm unfamiliar with, or things that I'm unfamiliar with, activities, jobs, tasks, that I don't know why I collect these in my hand, the trash can is not over here, that I'm more willing to sort of jump right in and be myself right off the bat. Not that I really know what being myself means, practically or even theoretically, but yeah, I mean, there's something to it, and I think that that's going to be really right behind that pole if I put it there. Could go up here, kind of cool, but then he gets his head cut off. Could go over here somewhere, that might be nice, might be the best option. I feel like I was getting onto a pretty good thought there, one of the better ones I've had so far, if we're going to put value judgments on things. Also, I could probably tilt down a little bit. I'm like, look really short because I'm kneeling down and there's nothing. I look so silly right now. Out of focus, just looking up at the monitor. Something like that, maybe. I mean, there's just no need for the show, really. Yeah, that's a better look. Probably could tilt down even more. Oh well, it's fine. I'm too lazy to do it. So, yeah, it's hard to know. Like, if, going to college, let's say, everything's new. Pretty much everything's new when you first come onto campus. And so I experienced that, and now I'm a junior, and now I can say, oh, this fall I've been so much more active myself out there in all these ways. Totally true. At the same time, this environment is not totally new to me. And there's something even for, like, working at football. I met new people yesterday, worked with new people, but it was in an environment that I felt comfortable with. And that mattered a lot to me. I didn't, again, people that I didn't necessarily know, but I had something to sort of ground me in, I don't know, some expectations for the experience, of my responsibility, and felt like the pressure was taken off of me in some ways, in professionally. I wasn't like really like, do I belong here, or really, worried. I wasn't like, my stress wasn't in that, so I was able to sort of devote more mental energy to how do I want to show up to these people, how do I want to be part of this team, how do I want to contribute to this, how do I want to interact with random people that I don't know, fans, and things like that. It's not always like that, though. There are times when I'm in a new environment with new people and I don't have something to ground myself, and I'm worried about 5 things at once, and that is what it is. So again, really hard to gauge, am I getting better at this? I definitely think still that I am. I assume that I am over the long term. Looking at a long block of time, I think that going into college, I saw that I had improved a lot in new experiences than the things that I had done in high school or camps that I had done, things like that. And every experience is different. Going into college, a lot of people that I was interacting with, that I was meeting, were in the same position as me. And sometimes now that's not the case as I'm older. So there's something different to that. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I was so open and like I just seemed to make friends so easily, the beginning of my freshman year. It's like, of course I did, because I was around a bunch of other freshmen who were trying to do the same thing actively and who were all, trying to find friends and looking for new experiences and stuff like that. And now it's not really the people that I'm around. So it's just different, and it can feel like a step back. Sometimes it can feel like a step forward. But, I'm trying to sort of stay the course and appreciate the experiences that are not new to me, that are not stressful to me, whilst also appreciating the new ones. And doing my best to take the experiences that I had where I, with older experiences, old, new experiences, they were new at some point, what I learned from them, what I sort of wish I did differently, and trying to do that in the new experiences. Always hard. Nothing's the same, of course. As I said before, I'm repeating myself. Surprised I haven't repeated myself more throughout this. Maybe I have, and you're yelling at me right now. I've probably exhausted this thought. Always learning. I'm still really hot. How long have I been going for? I have no idea. There's no way to find out right now. So, you can see what time it is. I don't really remember when I started. Okay, I think I've been going for a good chunk of time. Okay, I have a text to send, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Okay, we're back. So, I don't think I really talked about my hopes yet for the year, and that's something that I would like to do. Or, maybe not the year, but just the semester, I don't know, the next part of my life, whatever's going on. Once again, words just come out, and I'm thinking about 3 things at once. So, documentaries have really kind of taken over my life. I'm not watching them. I don't watch documentaries. I don't watch movies. But making them, or thinking about them, thinking about making them, trying to make them, sometimes actually making them, when I'm lucky. And I have some ideas, I have some projects in the works, and some sort of fantasies that haven't come to life yet. I'd like to talk about at least one of them, which is it's really a vague idea. I am very interested in faith and religion. I'm studying it somewhat this semester, and it's a really big part of sports, football especially. I didn't realize that so much because my hometown is really heavily Jewish, and also, well, I'm Jewish, and also I didn't play football or really grow up around football, so it's a somewhat new realization to me, but it's very interesting to me, and it's something that I want to explore in a documentary. Not necessarily around football. I think around sport in general, with an athlete, maybe a few athletes. And yeah, it's really not not a full-fledged idea. It's not a story. And maybe it's not really a story, maybe it's not really a documentary. But fuck the labels and the story arc. Maybe don't fuck that too hard, but I want to make something, a piece, a sort of poetic documentary, I guess it could be called. And maybe several pieces, documentary pieces, giving a glimpse into the mental space of a faithful athlete. Faithful athlete. I hadn't really come up with that phrase yet. I did not come up with that phrase. I hadn't really found that phrase yet. I'm feeling it's starting to get cold. So, yeah, I'm imagining voiceover, interview. It definitely could just be interview, but a lot of it not being shown on screen, and kind of a mix, I think, of experimental B-roll, sort of abstract B-roll of them playing their sport, competing, but in a controlled, like, posed, set up B-roll with lighting, something kind of dramatic, something to represent the feeling that they're in, the feeling that they're in. What the heck? To represent their state of mind in at a given time. I'm explaining this. I'm figuring it out as I go, by the way. So, but oh god, reset. Let's wipe the slate blank. Not completely, but yeah, this whole podcast is just sort of like, ignore me when I'm being stupid, listen to me when I'm saying something smart. Very small percentage of the time. Very small percentage of the time. Stumbled over my words, as I often do. So, yeah. I want an interview with an athlete. I'm thinking potentially 2 athletes, but they could be sort of separate pieces that merge into one. Okay, let's just suppose for a little bit. One piece with a football player, 1 minute long perhaps. It includes sound bites from an interview with them talking about a specific experience. Maybe not a specific experience, showing a specific experience in a real game where they're competing, performing, mixed in with abstract B-roll, lit with just them, probably just them, and they're talking about, I'm imagining with football specifically, it has to do with the prayer that they do before the game. When the players run out, they run to the end zone, take a knee, and pray. And that's kind of the last thing that they do as a team and in general before taking the field. I think that's really cool, and I think it's not something that people see exactly or understand. And I really want to know what's going on in their head in that time. What's happening, and what does that moment mean to them? What are they experiencing right then? And so I want to show that. I want to show that through the interview. I want to show that through B-roll of it actually happening right before a game, through, supplementary abstract B-roll, lighting, and maybe other B-roll of them in other parts of their life that are connected with what they're talking about. So that's piece number 1, maybe a minute long. Piece number 2, also probably a minute long. Similar thing with, I think it will be a volleyball player. Again, this is all just a supposition. It's all a guess. It's all just I'm coming up with examples, because talking abstractly didn't really work out so well. Didn't feel so good. So, yes. I have more to talk about with regard to volleyball, but the Rutgers volleyball team is the Rutgers team that I have the closest connection with now, personally. And so that feels like a good place to be, and I know that there are some very faithful people on that team. It always feels weird talking about this kind of stuff in a video that I know is going to be on the internet, but talking about like friends and things like that, I've always kind of been awkward and confused about what to do there. Anyways, yes, so second piece, around a minute probably, similar style, similar thing, with a volleyball player. Maybe including more aspects of their life, if that's something that I can get access to that makes sense, that adds something. Maybe it's practices, maybe it's just being a student, maybe it's them with their family. I definitely want to get more of how their relationship with God or their faith shows up beyond just competing, but that is also who they are as athletes. So that's piece number 2. And then piece number 3 would be maybe a more full, longer cut documentary synthesizing the two athletes and finding, common ground, compare and contrast. That's what the audience is doing as I sort of I had words that I was trying to say there, but the motion was probably enough to understand better than I can explain. I want there to be a story. I want there to be something that they want and something that they get, something that they accomplish. And I think that could definitely happen. With 2 people, it feels a little bit like it has to be something a bit broader that they're getting or accomplishing or wanting. And I'm scared about going into a documentary without a real clear purpose or focus or story idea. But I also think that I have to find it to some extent, and there's a documentary project that I worked on in the past. I'm no longer putting photos up. I could probably come here or here. Let me arrange things a little bit. I'm gonna sit on my Pelican case. I'm gonna get focus on me. I'm going to avoid corrupting, breaking my at least four giant hard drives that have my life's work on them. Sorry for those loud clicks in the audio. Is this a solid? Yeah, that's a nice shot. Nice enough for me, at least. Yeah, this is better. My knees are starting to hurt from even though I have carpet, there's a fly in here. All right, focus. About here, maybe. Get centered up. This is fun. I'm really enjoying this. And I think I'll enjoy listening to it as well, although it'll be frustrating, I'm sure, as it often is too. I'm trying to decide if I want to go on a little tangent or not. I'm happy. You could probably tell that. I don't know why I felt the need to say it. I guess I was attempting to make a comment about a broader theme in my life, trend. Not the best play by the Mets there. the pitcher just did put his glove over his mouth and cursed, I assume. That was a pretty funny play. I look really silly to you, I'm sure. So, not sure what that was about. Actually, I'm pretty sure, but I'm not going to get into it. Man, I feel like if I watched someone else doing this, I would legitimately think that they had something, I don't know, had a diagnosable illness, or I'm not sure what way to say it that is like accurate. I don't know what I would think, but I would think that, wow, their mind works really differently than mine does. I don't think that's true, but I have no idea. So, anyways. Was I talking about the documentary still? I think I was. There was a documentary that I was working on where I had a clear idea of what I wanted the story to be. And I don't think that was a bad thing, but I did an interview and I didn't get that at all. And it was with an older subject, someone who I don't know. I mean, these things are not every story pans out, not everything works out just in general. And with documentaries all the time, like trying to make a documentary about sports is really difficult. Half the time they lose, and I mean, losing is not bad for a documentary necessarily, but the story doesn't happen as you want it to. In this case, it was also mostly a retrospective documentary, which is why I think having more of an idea for what I wanted in the interview was probably a good idea, a good thing, but it didn't pan out. And so I think that maybe there's something okay about not having the clearest idea of things. And of course I need to allow the subjects of the documentary also to lead with their own experiences. It needs to be truthful to them, and I can't just go so far as to sort of manufacture a story. And so, I mean, even like, I'm not really a religious person. I don't know what their faith is giving them, if you will. I don't know what their connection is. I don't know, and it's of course different for everyone. There's only a point in me guessing up to a certain point. I have an idea now that I think is, after fleshing it out a little bit here, I think it's developed enough to go to the next stage of finding people and logistics. A lot of logistics. It's going to be difficult. Wow. All right. Defense is not looking very good today. Good thing we scored 13 runs. Yeah, I think I have enough of an idea where I can take the next steps, and maybe I need to write something out about the idea. I'm going to have to get used to explaining it and figure out how I explain it, but this was helpful, I think, to talk about it and to try to talk about it to people who don't know that much about what's going on necessarily in my life, or you may know a lot about what's going on in my life. You're probably close to me, but I might be done. There's always more to talk about. My throat's feeling it a little bit, and I don't know, nothing feels really pressing to speak about, I think. Let me think for a moment. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about this move towards more storytelling as I tilt the camera down once again. Maybe that was too much. That's fine. So I'm not sure exactly why it's happening. I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but I definitely have an interest in documentary, like I was saying, more than I had before. And some of it, I'm sure, is just circumstance, is just the stories I have access to and the projects I'm working on. But I think, I don't know, just kind of spitballing, I think, like with regard to sports, I think that I have just much more of an interest now in storytelling than I did before. I guess I feel like I've done some of like and I want to say this really lightly, I think I guess I'll say I've done enough of the hype edits for my taste. In no way am I saying I'm the best at this. I'm absolutely not. I know many people, friends of mine, and strangers on the internet, on Instagram, way beyond my level. And that's part of it too, is like, there are people who are amazing at this. Much respect to them. And they spend so much time doing it, so much time honing their craft, VFX, all this stuff. And I don't think I want to get that deep into that. I don't think I want to get that deep into VFX and 3D compositing. I do want to try that stuff, and I want to do more of it for sure. I'm always trying to improve in every direction if possible. But I don't think that pure hype is what I want to do, and I think there are seeds of that from a long time ago. I don't know. I've always had an interest in telling stories. Not in, I don't know, I guess there's been like I'm getting excited now, which is cool, but I'm also, struggling to put things into words as always. I guess there's been like two versions of storytelling in my head. There's like what I think it's supposed to be, and then there's actually telling stories. And actually telling stories I want to do, but I don't necessarily see as storytelling. I just see as like, I need to say this. Like right now, to some extent. But then there's like you should do it, like it's like being in the film program and having to make films of projects and like having to come up with ideas, I always thought was weird. Oh, there's a position player pitching and we just hit a home run. First pitch. Or second pitch. Wow, crushed that. Citi Field is bumping. Looks fun. I definitely think there's a difference there, whatever, between like, and again, all my faults. I don't know why I take things this way, but like when I had the opportunity, the platform to tell stories in a certain way, I think I don't know, got performative in some ways. It just didn't work out for me exactly. Like, I don't know, the idea of like brainstorming a film script or like a fictional narrative idea never totally worked for me. It's just not quite how I think for whatever reason. Maybe not never, but like it hasn't often felt really good to me, and it has felt more like, oh, this is this thing that people do and it seems cool, like I want to try or something, but not like I need to do this because this is the best way to express myself. And I think, yeah, I'm really excited to continue with this documentary work and try to take it to a different level and make it happen, make it come to life. I feel like I'm on the brink in a lot of ways with documentary projects. Like, I've been putting in a lot of work on science documentaries especially, and I don't have so much to show for it that I'm able to share, and I think soon I'll have more. And I'm also, again, this is all about like the settling in thing. I feel like I'm finally getting to the point where the projects I'm doing I have more ownership over them because I've seen them through more start to finish, a more full life cycle. And I think that with sports, again, it's like I'm back. I'm doing a lot of the same things this year as I was doing last year, which gives me a chance to be more intentional. I know what's happening here, and what do I want to do about it? What do I want to take from this? What do I want to happen? And doing more of that creation process. Creation is always unnecessary. It's never expected. I shouldn't say never. It's often unexpected. It's often unnecessary. It's often, no one needs a painting, but when you do it, you're doing something extra. I don't know. And I think it's the unnecessary things. This is a video idea I had that I'm coming upon, which is cool to see that happening sort of organically, although I did realize what was happening 30 seconds ago. I think that the unnecessary things that we do in a lot of cases are some of the most important and some of the most important, some of the most valuable, some of the most interesting to me personally. I'm not sure why my voice sounds so shaky now. I think I just probably need to drink water, and I don't have any right now. And I've been speaking for a long time. So, yeah, I think it's when you put extra time into a project that you didn't have to do, that's what makes it good, right? Like, it's just sort of average, and average is fine, but life happens all the time being average, and average doesn't, it continues, it keeps the status quo. It's a weird word to say. I'm not sure what that word is from, like what language or something. It's kind of interesting. So yeah, I think it's like gifts. What is special about gifts is like when it's unexpected, when it's unnecessary, when it's not like it's your birthday, so I'm giving you a gift card. It's like I saw these flowers and I thought of you, and now I'm giving them to you, and there's no occasion. It's just like that's a lot more special to me, or things like that. Maybe that example is it's a bad example for other reasons, maybe, but we're just teeing off on this position player, bro. We gotta stop. Except you don't really do that in baseball, I feel like. So, oh well. Anyways, are we still gonna do our? Yeah, he did. In so many cases, I think that it's doing something extra that's really what counts. It's sort of like once you get to the standard, the expectation, once you finish the task, that's when the work really starts. I don't know. I'm just saying stuff at this point. But home run. 3-run home run down the line, right over the wall, Luis Torrens. I mean, it's cool to see that these hitters are so good. We scored six runs and haven't made it out yet. And like when the pitching is not good, they tee off. It's not like, I don't know, as a hitter sometimes in the past, it pains me to say in the past, but it doesn't pain me that much. It's been a little while. I've been letting go, but I don't know, sometimes a slow, not so good pitcher comes up and you just roll over and ground out or something, or pop up and I hit better against the guy throwing harder. And that makes some more sense when it's Little League and pitchers are really bad. But anyways, off topic. Yeah, so I think this is the time where I'm trying to do the unnecessary things, and it's a lot more feasible in the summer. Once classes start, let me tell you, nothing unnecessary happening. It's not totally true, and that's a real reason why I was frustrated with school in the first place, in the first semester especially, even second semester, and what frustrates me about like real ongoing commitments a lot. Is like you have this expectation and you're sort of fulfilling it, and then you're drained. And I think a lot of the really important work gets done after work, or could get done after work. And a lot of times work itself is so draining that it doesn't happen really in the way that it could, or the way that we intend. So yeah, it'll be tough when school starts, but I'm hoping still to keep doing the unnecessary things, being intentional about what I'm adding, what I'm trying to do as little as possible just to get it done if I can. I'd probably rather do fewer things, say no to some things, which is going to really pain me when I have to do that, and I've already started doing it to some extent. I'm always doing it, but it hurts me. But it might have to happen. It might have to continue to happen. It will have to continue to happen. It will continue to happen. I intend to do it. And I think in most cases it's better. In my case, at least, I'm in a lot of areas right now, doing a lot of things. When school starts, it will become way more things even. And I think that it would probably be better for me to stick to fewer things that I'm doing and do those things really well and execute them, give them the time that allows them to flourish. It's like I could spend spend the next year making like 100 video projects, and I'll get them all done, and then if I don't have enough time to really make any of them all that good because I have to do so many, my work at the end of the year is not really going to be any better. It takes something unnecessary. It takes intention. It takes, that was a crazy sound that came out of my throat. It takes something extra to make the stuff that's really awesome, the best work. And if you're always on the hamster wheel, you can never get ahead. You're just staying in the same spot on the treadmill. Like, the great work, the master work never happens. And it's okay to be on that hamster wheel and that treadmill sometimes. It happens to all of us. But I try to get off it at least once in a while to do something I don't have to do. To do Luis Torrens pitching. Well, the Mets have a position player in as well in the 9th inning. Not really sure why we're doing this, to be honest, because we are up 14, but we do need some outs and like 3 outs. And all right, man. I think it's time for this to be done. I've talked for a really long time. This might be my longest podcast. I always think it's longer than it is, so I'm gonna look back and it'll be like 20 minutes. But no, I think it's been over an hour. Not sure, but yeah, my throat's hurting, so it's been awesome. It's been really fun. I'm feeling really good after this. I was feeling good before it as well, but always feel good doing this, and hopefully some more will happen at some point. It could be another year. It could be 5 years. I could never do another podcast. Who knows? But that's all for this one. That's all I know for now. Thank you if you're still listening to this. Send me a text or something, or leave a comment if you don't have my phone number. If you feel like it, I am immensely appreciative and in awe of you. Truly. Thank you for having this one-sided conversation with me for however long it's been, and I'll see you hopefully soon if I like you. Bye. 2-run home run, 19-7. Uh-oh.